Now, because Tai Chi likes to work very close to mid-range in its fighting, elbows, and later we'll look at bumping with different various parts of the body, are very useful tools in the fighting style. And if you look at the form, it's kind of hard to tell, where the elbows are used, but hidden in a lot of the movements are potential elbow strikes or locks and different things that you can do with the elbows. So they're a very useful tool in the martial side of Tai Chi. So I require my students to know several bag drills that teach how to use the elbows for striking in different ways, because if you're in close, you can use that half-inch or inch power for striking, but my elbow is also right here, and I could easily use that same kind of half-inch power or inch power in a strike with the elbow. And a lot of times you can generate more force with your elbow than you can with your fist. Not always, but a lot of times. So we're going to do several videos about just elbows, because there's so many different drills that I have. Well, there's not that many, but there's enough that would make a really, really long video if we tried to fit all of the different bag drills for elbows in one video. So what we're going to do is basically make several different videos that talk about bag drills for different directions of striking with the elbows. So in this video, the direction of force that we're going to look at for our elbow strikes is forward. So we have two bag drills that go with forward. There's obviously a lot more you can do, but they're basically strikes where the force is coming kind of straight into the back as you move forward. So the first one is a pretty standard elbow strike. Comes across about shoulder height. You're using the last little bit of the elbow here. If you had your hand so the blade was out, you could follow that forearm all the way down to where the elbow is. Use just that last little section for the strike. And of course, the way that you do it is from the base, body motion, rotation, here. Here. You want to make sure that you don't bring the shoulder up as you do this. You don't want to chicken wing so that you're hitting with the top of the arm instead of the front. You also want to make sure as you do this that the motion is actually coming from the body. This, not this. Okay? So if I'm in close, doing push hands, whatever, doesn't matter, I can still get a pretty good solid strike in using that body motion. As you practice this one though, start light and just tap the bag. Here, light tap. And what you do with the other hand isn't necessarily that important for what we're working on, but it's not a bad idea to keep it up, because you probably want to be protecting your head at some point while you're doing these bag drills. So coming straight across, using the body motion from the base through the lower dantian, expressed in the upper body, straight through. Remember, stay relaxed. Don't get tense and try to power through it. This is one of the easiest moves, I think, to stay relaxed and still generate a lot of power, because you just really body motion, twist, whip into it, and that elbow just sinks right in, right where it's supposed to. And you have to do almost nothing, it feels like, to get a lot of good oomph out of it. And then as you get more and more used to it, you can put more and more force into it. But for starters, keep it pretty light. So that's the first one. And it's really just, if you just have your hands up in front of you, you just twist here. There. So you want to stay over your base. You want to make sure you don't lean out here or forward. You don't want to do it this way. If you're having to lean that far to get the elbow strike in, you probably shouldn't be using an elbow strike. You should be using a different kind of strike because you're too far away. But you want your feet solid. You can go from a 4-6 stance into a bow and arrow stance, shifting forward, using that whipping motion of the waist to power the strike. So that's the first one, and it comes level here. So you don't want to bring it down low and then try to whip it up. You don't want to chicken wing it. Like I was saying, it's not hitting with the top part of the elbow. It's hitting with this outside part. There. Now the next bag drill is probably one of my favorite elbow techniques of all time because it's such a subtle motion, but it can put so much power in the tip of that elbow. So what you're going to do is start facing your bag. You're going to step a little bit and you're going to twist. Twist and sink. So this is the body motion here. And what you do is you take the tip of your elbow and you're going to push it out as you do that. So it's not swinging up, it's pushing out. So you're using the tip of your elbow to push into the bag. Push the bag away from you with the tip of the elbow. So it better not swing up. If you feel your elbow rubbing on the bag, you're not doing it right. It should only push into the bag. So if you take a step back, just a little one, you can step close, and as you turn, your elbow just pushes in to the bag. So from here, there. Now, you probably, if you're into Chinese martial arts, you might notice that posture from Taijiquan, which is not Tai Chi. But the technique itself is definitely not only a Baji technique. It's also used in Tai Chi. I just happen to have that habit built into me to put my hands in that posture. So that's how I do it. You don't have to worry about putting this hand here as this one comes up. The thing you do want to make sure you do is as this hand comes up, you don't want just a straight fist, like you're getting ready to punch something, because that gets really close to your face and it can be kind of uncomfortable. And it also kind of limits your range of motion here. So if you kind of roll it back a little bit, so instead of being here, you roll it, it gives you a better range of motion. You can move the arm more without hitting yourself, which is a big plus, because that would be really lame to hit yourself in the middle of a fight. So you step in, and you just twist and push out with the elbow. Push out. Now you could start without the step if that's making it more difficult. You can just twist your body, step in nice and close, make sure that if you're here, you can push with the elbow. Then you're going to twist your hips so that you're facing the bag. And from here, you can just twist and push. And twist and push. And I mean, I'm doing almost nothing here. And that's giving a pretty good push. If you put oomph into this one, I mean, not obviously with muscle and trying to be tough, but with body motion, sinking and whipping with the hips, you can put a lot of power into a really small point, which makes a pretty dangerous technique. So when you're here, twist. And your hand, of course, is flexed back, but you notice that this is not in front or back behind. It's pushing straight out from my body so that any force that comes back can be directed through my body down into the back leg rather than pushing me over or pushing me this way or pushing me that way. And also the force that I'm putting into this is coming up all the way through me instead of just depending on my shoulder or arm strength. So if you're going to take the step, just back up a little bit and you just want to step closer to the bag and turn and push with the elbow. You want to be careful that you don't do this. This is not a good technique. If you're that far away, you should be doing something different, not this. So if you find that when you get here you aren't touching the bag and you're tempted to push like this, then you just need to check where you are and say, okay, that's not close enough. Next time I need to step this close so that when I do this, I can keep my structure and still apply the technique. So if you're back here, you step in, there, just sink and twist, there. And if you end up putting a lot of oomph into it, takes like very little effort on your part and puts a lot of force into it. So if you can get this one down, you're going to be doing all right. Now, even if you start here with just the twist, you can still put a lot into it because it's the body motion, that sinking and twisting, the hips moving, the lower dantian moving the power through, that puts power into this technique. So even from here, you can put quite a bit of force into it. So those are the two forward elbow bag drills. So the first one again was coming here, coming across level, hitting with this part of the elbow, that end piece, again, relaxed, body motion, gives you the power for that. The second one is using the tip of the elbow and pushing in. There. Pushes straight toward your target, not up, out. So from here you can step and twist, push out. Or you can start in close and just, feet facing this way, turn your hips, get ready, and then as you turn, push out with the elbow. Either way works. So those are the bag drills that we have for elbow strikes in the forward direction. Hopefully they give you some good ideas for other bag drills that you can do, other elbow strikes that you can do in the forward direction as you're practicing Tai Chi. In our next video, we'll be working on a different direction for the elbow strikes, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. So I want to tell you all about the latest product from the Pure Trim company. At least this is the latest one as of the time of this filming. It's called Liver Master, and it's basically an herbal blend for your liver. I'll tell you what I've noticed since I've started using it. It's supposed to be used on like a 90-day kind of liver program that you can go on. And what I've noticed is that I sleep better and my energy seems to be a little bit more even through the day instead of having a lot of peaks and valleys. It tends to just kind of carry through. So I don't know if you'll have the same experience, but it might be worth trying out. So you can find out more about Liver Master, what's in it, what it's used for, if you visit the website that's at the bottom of the screen. I hope you try it out, and I hope you learn to love it as much as I do. Check it out, Liver Master.